Welcome back to the deep dive. We are tackling a very specific kind of pain today. It's not a technical pain.
Yeah.
It's not a broken pipeline or a server that's down.
Right.
It's a communication pain. It's that moment you're sitting with a stakeholder, maybe from marketing, maybe the CEO, and you have to explain why the company needs to invest in data governance
And you just watch the light go out of their eyes.
instantly.
Yeah.
It's the glazed eye effect. You start using words like metadata management or policy enforcement.
And you can physically see them checking out. They're nodding, sure, but, they're making a grocery list in their head.
It's a translation failure, isn't it? That's what it feels like.
It is. That's really what it is. You're speaking the language of, mechanics, how the engine is built, and they're speaking the language of the destination where the car needs to go.
And there's no bridge.
That bridge is just
It's missing. Exactly. So today, that's what we're doing. We're building that bridge. We're diving into this concept called the Data Governance Analogy Toolkit, specifically looking at material from the DG specialist.
Right.
And the mission here is to give you a story, a narrative device, that can actually break through that executive firewall.
And I want to be clear, this isn't about dumbing it down. I think a lot of data pros feel, a little patronized when people say that.
That's a great point. So what is it about?
It's about cognitive load. It really is. Think about an executive's brain. They are making hundreds of decisions a day.
Okay.
So when you come in with these very abstract technical concepts, you're forcing their brain into this analytical processing mode.
Got
It just burns so much energy.
This is why their eyes glaze over. They're just exhausted by the translation.
Right? But when you use a vivid analogy, you trigger something different. You trigger pattern matching. You tap into a story they already get.
So it bypasses all that analytical friction.
It hits them right in the gut. They feel the problem before they have to sit there and calculate it.
So we're not just telling stories for fun. We're basically using a psychological hack to get our budget approved.
Essentially, yeah.
I love it. Okay, so the analogy we are breaking down today is it's bold, it's colorful, and I think it's a little risky if you don't stick the landing.
It is.
We're talking about the pirate ship.
The pirate ship.
P for pirate ship. Now, I know what you're thinking, I work at a bank or I'm in healthcare, we can't be pirates. But the source material, the DG specialist, really argues this imagery, captures the state of most data orgs.
It really does. And it's not about the criminality of pirates. It's about the chaos.
Let's set the scene then. The core idea is no captain, no compass, just chaos on the high seas.
That's the tagline.
So just, visualize it. You've got this huge water ship. It's in the middle of a storm, waves crashing over the deck.
Yeah.
And you have 100 people running around.
Total chaos. They're screaming, pulling ropes, scrubbing the deck like their lives depend on it.
But, and this is the key part, nobody is at the wheel.
Nobody. Pure kinetic energy. And that's a point the source really emphasizes. The crew isn't lazy.
That's a critical distinction, right?
Absolutely. In most companies that struggle with data, the problem isn't that people aren't working hard. Your engineers are working late, your analysts are churning out reports.
Everyone is sweating.
But because there's no coordination, it's all just wasted energy. It's speed, but no velocity, because there's no single direction.
So one team is hoisting the sails to go north, and another team is paddling south.
And the ship just spins in circles while you're burning through resources.
Okay, let's deconstruct this metaphor a bit more. The ship is the organization.
Or maybe the data environment specifically.
And the sea is the market.
Which is, volatile and dangerous, always changing.
Then what about the barnacles on the hull? The source kind of alludes to the condition of the ship itself.
Oh, the barnacles are a perfect analogy for technical debt and legacy data.
Okay, go on.
Well, think about it. You can have the fastest crew in the world, but if your hull is covered in 10 years of bad data, duplicate records, old code.
Barnacles.
Exactly. It just creates drag. You apply more and more energy, but the ship just moves slower and slower.
That is painfully relatable. And what about mutiny?
Mutiny is shadow IT.
I knew you were going to say that.
It fits perfectly, right?
Yeah.
Why do crews mutiny? Because they don't trust the leadership to get them to the treasure.
Or they think they can do it better themselves.
So the marketing department says, IT is too slow. The captain isn't listening to us. We're just going to buy our own little lifeboat.
And suddenly you have a fleet of tiny, disconnected lifeboats instead of one powerful ship.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes you vulnerable to The Kraken.
The Kraken. We have to talk about the Kraken.
The Kraken is the external threat. It's GDPR. It's a data breach. It's a massive regulatory audit.
Oh.
If you're a coordinated ship with a sharp lookout, you can navigate around the Kraken. If you're a chaotic pirate ship with mutineers everywhere...
The Kraken eats you for lunch. Okay, so we've established the scene. Chaos, drag, mutiny, sea monsters. The executives are nodding now because they recognize this feeling of chaos.
Right.
So now we have to pivot to the solution. And the source has a very specific lesson here. Without leadership and direction, governance fails before it starts.
This is the so what moment. Most data people try to sell governance as the solution to the chaos. They say, we need rules.
But we need to stop the pirates from running around.
Yes. But if you just start yelling rules at a chaotic crew, stop running, tuck in your shirt, you don't get order, you get a riot. The source is arguing you cannot govern a void, you need a captain first.
So who's the captain in this analogy? Is it the CEO? The CIO?
It's not necessarily a person, it's a role. And the source says every crew needs a captain and every data program needs a strategy.
So the strategy is the captain.
The strategy is the captain.
That's interesting. So the captain isn't the person yelling orders. The
Yeah.
captain represents the destination.
Precisely. A captain's primary job is to stand at the front of the ship and say, we are going to Treasure Island.
And once you have that destination,
Everything else falls into place. The deck scrubbing makes sense because we need a clean deck to get to the island. The sails are set to catch the wind that will take us to the island.
so if I'm a data leader, I shouldn't be going in asking for governance. I should be asking for the destination.
Yes. If you walk into a boardroom and ask for governance, you sound like a bureaucrat. But if you walk in and say, we are spinning in circles, we need to decide where we're going so I can steer the ship there, you sound like a navigator.
And that leads us to the compass.
The compass is the actual governance framework.
Okay, distinguish those two for me. Captain versus compass.
So the captain, the strategy, sets the goal. Maximize revenue by cross-selling to our existing customers. That's your treasure island.
Right.
The compass, which is your governance, tells you if you are actually heading there. It answers the question, are we on course?
Got it. So data quality metrics, lineage, standards, those are the compass readings.
If the compass says you're going northwest, but the captain said go north, you know you have a problem. You adjust. But, and this is the key part, a compass is totally useless if you don't have a destination.
If you don't know where you're going, any wind is the right wind.
Exactly. Or, maybe no wind is the right wind. You're just drifting, and that's why the source uses that phrase, drifting on the high seas.
And drifting is actually more dangerous than moving the wrong way.
It is, because you just bleed out resources slowly, day by day, until a storm hits.
Okay, I want to play devil's advocate for a second. I'm listening. I love this analogy, but I work at a very conservative insurance firm. If I walk into the risk committee meeting and say, our mateys, beware the Kraken.
Yeah, security is going to walk you out. Fair question.
So how do I actually apply this?
You have to read the room. You don't have to wear the eye patch.
Right.
You use the structure of the analogy, not the costume.
Okay, so walk me through the pitch.
You start with the pain. You say, look, we have a lot of talented people working very hard right now, but our data projects, it feels like we have a lot of activity, but not a lot of progress. It feels like we're drifting.
You plant that image of the drift.
Exactly. Then you say, we are acting like a ship without a captain. We have the crew, we have the vessel, but we don't have a unified strategy for why we are collecting this data.
And because we don't have a strategy, we don't have a compass.
We don't have the governance in place to keep us on course. You're not calling them pirates. You're identifying a strategic gap. And executives love fixing strategic gaps.
So you're inviting them to be the captain.
Yes. You're saying, if you can define the destination, I can build the compass to get us there.
That puts the ball back in their court in a really productive way.
It does. It moves the conversation from, why does IT want more money, to, how do we get to the treasure?
What if they push back? What if
Yeah.
they say, we don't need a strategy, we just need this one report fixed?
That's the classic scrub the deck response. Just clean this one mess. You have to push back gently with the analogy. You say, I can fix that report. I can scrub that spot on the deck. But if the ship is still spinning in circles, the deck is just going to get dirty again tomorrow. Do we want to keep cleaning, or do we want to start sailing?
That is $1 million question right there. Do we want to keep cleaning, or do we want to start sailing?
It exposes the futility of purely reactive data work. And that's what this whole toolkit from the DG Specialist is about. These analogies expose the futility of doing the work without the vision.
Now, we focused on the pirate ship, but the source, this analogy toolkit, implies there are more.
Oh, yeah, there are. And having a library of these is honestly a career superpower. Sometimes pirate ship works. Sometimes you need an analogy about, say, building a house.
Oh, like you can't put the roof on the AI and analytics before you pour the foundation, which is the data governance.
Exactly. Or the restaurant kitchen analogy. If the ingredients, the data coming in the back door are rotten, it doesn't matter how good your chef is.
The customer's going to get sick.
Yeah. The source mentions you can find more of these on their website.
That's at dgsspecialist.com/podcast.
And they have a YouTube channel as well. It's at DG Specialist.
It's worth noting that the expert in the source material uses the word sensitizing the business. That word really stuck with me.
It's a great word. It means making them sensitive to the risk. Right now, most businesses are just numb to bad data.
Oh, the report is always a day late.
Yeah.
The customer address is always wrong. They just accept it.
They've been living on the chaotic pirate ship for so long they've forgotten it's not normal. The seasickness has become their baseline. Your job with these stories is to make them feel the motion of the ship and realize, wait a minute, this isn't right.
So it's about raising the standard.
It's about culture change.
Yeah.
And you can't change culture with a policy document. You change it with stories that reshape how people see their reality.
Before we wrap, I want to touch on one last piece of this.
Yeah.
The crew. What about the loyal crew? The ones who want to do a good job? How does governance help them?
This is the retention angle. People hate working in chaos. It's so demoralizing to scrub a deck and then watch a wave of bad data wash over it 5 minutes later.
So bringing in a captain and a compass isn't just good for the bottom line. It's good for morale.
It's huge for morale. When you have a strategy, people know why they're working. It gives meaning to the mundane. It turns the pirates into a navy.
From pirates to navy, that's the maturity curve right there.
It is. A navy ship is disciplined, predictable, safe. That's where you want to get. But you have to first acknowledge that you're starting out as pirates.
Okay, let's summarize the toolkit. You're walking into a meeting tomorrow. You are sensing the glazed eyes.
Step 1, stop talking about the mechanics. Stop talking about the engine.
Step 2, deploy the pirate ship. We are chaos on the high seas. No captain, no compass.
Step 3, identify the gap. We are drifting. We lack a strategy, the captain, to tell us where to go.
Step 4, sell the solution. Governance isn't the police. It is the compass. It's the only way to ensure we actually reach the destination.
And finally, ask for the mandate. Where are we sailing?
It's so simple, but it strips away all the jargon and just leaves the business problem.
And that's where you win. Because you can't win an argument about metadata with the CEO, but you can win an argument about strategy.
I think that's the perfect place to leave it. We think our job is to manage data, but maybe
Yeah.
our job is to steer the ship.
Or at least convince the captain to stop letting go of the wheel
Also true.
and watch out for the Kraken.
Always watch out for the Kraken. So here's our final thought for you to chew on. Take a hard look at your organization
Not the tech stack. Look at the behavior, the meetings, the fire drills.
and ask yourself, if you are being really honest, are you sailing with a strategy? Or are you just a crew of pirates drifting on the high seas waiting for the storm to hit?
It's a scary question, but until you answer it, you can't change course.
Thanks for diving in with us. Go find your captain. We'll see you in the next deep dive.